Thank you, Mr. Chair. Move to strike the last word.
Gentleman is recognized.
First, I would like to say thank you to my colleague across the aisle, Congresswoman Beatty, the ranking member of the National Security, Illicit Financing, International Financial Institutions Subcommittee, for her bipartisan work and joining with me on introducing this important piece of legislation. I value and appreciate the willingness of all of our members to work across the aisle to put forward common sense solutions to solve potentially devastating issues for our constituents across the country, and particularly in Iowa and Ohio. H.R. 5119, the Protect Small Business and Prevent Illicit Finance Activity Act, once enacted, would do two very important things. First, the legislation would fix a loophole created by the U.S. Department of Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Entity that would give the opportunity for companies to state that they were unable to obtain or unable to identify their true ownership, reflecting the accurate ownership of those companies. The inclusion of these options undermines the effectiveness of the Corporate Transparency Act Congress passed in 2020. And it roots out, or the intent is to root out shell companies by establishing a new reporting requirement for businesses. When FinCEN created this loophole, it opened the U.S. financial system open to criminal owners of shell and shelf companies, many of whom represent aggressive foreign nation states like China, Russia, and North Korea. According to reports, over 40,000 shell companies were operating with links to the Chinese Communist Party and directly to its leader Xi Jinping. These shell companies are able to profit from the loopholes created by FinCEN that directly jeopardize our national security, stealing our intellectual property and undermining our economy right here at home, all without the detection of the U.S. government. By fixing this and including this legislation, the government will be able to crack down on these nefarious businesses operating in near plain sight. In addition to rooting out our criminal shell companies, this bill will also make it easier for legitimate American businesses to comply with reporting requirements by extending the deadline while the government fixes this egregious loophole. I would like to thank the committee for taking this important legislation up today. I've been working with my local associates to spread the word about the forthcoming beneficial ownership requirements. I believe collectively we must move this legislation to the floor to provide the relief that small businesses, whether it be in the Hawkeye State or the Buckeye State or the entire U.S., need to stop China from undermining our national security. So once again, thank you to Ranking Member Beatty for joining me in introducing 5119. And Mr. Chair, I yield my time.